How are we, ladies and gentlemen? Did you enjoy your summer? You would have been being told, that it was the hottest on record. Scotty-o, you nearly fried. And we're a goner. Yeah. As you see the last few days of wind, cloud and rain, which we saw sporadically throughout the summer, in fact, but we're given those token Scotty-o days so they can hottest on record type things, right? But did you enjoy it? Yes, I hope you did. I hope you did. Let's while we're on that subject, why don't we talk about a little bit of gaslighting? Yeah, our favourite subject. It certainly should be at the moment. It certainly should be something that we are very, very aware of, or becoming more aware of. That term gaslighted, because it appears that it's on the daily. Let's get straight into it. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about here.
And when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies and women.
There's going to be a bit of a reshuffle, and I think this guy's going to be part of that reshuffle. So, like I mentioned, the term gaslighting is being mentioned for a reason. I believe that this guy's going to be a big part of the reshuffle. And oh my word, look, I don't know about you, but post-2020 feels like it's kind of been one episode after the last. Not just with the gaslighting, but with problems in general. But post-2020, there's been a couple of standout things that have kept the traction. I'm using these words on purpose, like episode, traction. Oh! It's like a bloody theatre, boy. I don't like theatre. I don't like theatre productions. I don't like what's it called? Amdram, is it? Yeah. Kind of gives me shivers when I watch stuff like that. But it's like we're watching it on a big scale, isn't it? And it's like that they've given us a few breaks in between the bigger problems, but there's been a few that have had the power to hold on, to sustain themselves throughout our experience post-2020. The problems that have stuck and that are mentioned more frequently than others. And it does feel like a stage. It feels like the world is a stage. It feels like it's almost like a non-organic process. And it's bits like this is the big news at the moment. This is what's come out. Right? And this is just something that feels like the rhetoric of the big problem that we've been talking about or want to talk about. Because although I'm very conscious not to feed the beast when it comes to the non-organic process that feels evident more and more daily, I don't know about you, but it just feels Truman Show-like, right? In regards to the fear and the anxiety and the anger. Here's where I think it gets, let's call it interesting. It's frustrating as well, but let's call it interesting. I'm conscious not to feed the beast, but yet these are real life problems. These are things that we are being faced with. This is probably the biggest challenge in the Matrix, how it draws you in. I don't want to feed the beast of the system, yet when it comes to the fear and the anxiety and how people are feeling towards the future, it is this stuff that is impacting people's lives, right? And this rhetoric around it is naturally going to be a big part of that. And this is like one of them daily things now that people are like, what now? What now? Because again, this is one of the subjects that very quickly you're not able to talk about. And when it comes to following the money and the decisions and not being able to talk about certain things, post-2020, among many others in history, actually, but certainly post 2020 has taught us that the things you can't talk about are the current things, are the big things. You talk about them to a certain extent, but not so much, not so much. And this is one of them. See, like the gaslighting that you just heard there in that little ditty video, we've known about the 4-star hotels. We've known about, some people will tell you that the people coming across the sea with nothing, just the clothes on their back, no, not even any ID, that somehow they manage to clothe and feed themselves and find their own accommodation. It's incredible. Yeah, they'll gaslight you into believing that they don't even, that they get the bare minimum or maybe don't get nothing, really. The new clobber, the technology, they didn't come with a packed lunch, so they're getting fed. And the hotels that they're staying in, most people living there can't afford them. Yeah, took 4-star. And now this is the latest. New townhouses, although they're thrown up like egg boxes, and we are socially engineered to believe that getting ourselves into perpetual lifetime debt for an EV charger, underfloor heating, and an ensuite is the way to go. But for a lot of people, it's a big step to be able to afford something like that. And the latest is that, once again, they're getting this stuff for free, and it's spreading. We know that this global theatre is a spreading. Now they're talking about holiday hotspots. Mallorca and Ibiza. We're going to Ibiza. No, we're not. They're a little bit behind, though, you see. Because they're still offering the hotels. We've progressed to the new builds. Okay? We've progressed to offering new houses. But holiday hotspots like Mallorca and Ibiza, a little bit behind, just offering the hotels. But are they going to be the 4-star? Will that make the holiday prices go up, or make the holidays not feel like a holiday at all? But I'll tell you what gets me, and again, factoring in some inaccuracy, because you have to do that, but generally it's touted that how much you earn in the UK after taxes if you're on minimum wage, about 22.5 grand. How much 1 million out of work Brits are claiming on welfare, often due to many different problems. 25k. Yeah. Again, like I said, factor in a little bit of error, and tippy tappy on the calculator. It's close, isn't it? It's close. People, especially younger people now, waking up in the morning. Do I go work in retail, or do I sit here play the computer? And I do feel a bit anxious. I feel a bit depressed. Yeah. And claim pretty much as much money, if not more. It does my head in. It's a completely unsustainable system that I have absolutely no idea of the future, apart from, but these are just theories again, aren't they? But universal basic income, digital IDs, and a lot of the things that have been touted as to the sort of future that's being created by follow the money. Why? Again, there's different layers, I'm sure, to all of this, as to why you'd want what looks like a system that was doing all right for a while, had its major problems like anything else does, but generally people were certainly better off than they are today for a long time. And I can think of many theories, and I could list off 10 right now as to why you might destroy that level of, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it is a little bit sort of like that, but for a lot of people, being able to afford their food rather than have to get out second mortgages or loans, or consider going on benefits rather than working. There's a better system than that, by far. And it's a system that's being systematically ripped apart. It's a system that is no longer there. It's no longer there. It's no longer there. It's finished. Yeah. The idea that you can go out and work hard, start a business, get some investments, look after your future, do this, do that, have ambition. It's being systematically torn apart. Replaced by universal basic income and digital IDs. And, yeah, like I said, there's many theories behind it, but it's all about sharing our experience, bringing it to how you choose to live your life. How are you seeing things? What your experience is? Why I do these videos is because, you know, I'm like I said, I'm very aware. You know, I know the mainstream media and a lot of alternative media, they'll just jump into something, jump into the bandwagon, and it feeds the beast. It feeds into the whole collective narrative. You can't do this job. You can't commentate. You can't bring this sort of stuff into awareness without an element of that. But I'm very conscious that along with that, if there is even a solution, that it's about sharing experiences and for many, knowing that they don't feel alone in regards to their thoughts about all this. I really do. Ta-ta.